What is? Hang on. Hello. What are we doing? Oh, wait. Can everyone hear me now? All right. We're going to try this. I'm still getting some kickback feedback from something here that I don't know why. Hmm? Yeah? Oh, well. I was going to try to maneuver something, but it ain't going to work. Of course. Huh?
You can still hear it.
I know. So, with that being said, let me get rid of this. Aiden, get in here. All right, y'all, what is up? Welcome to Bracket Busters. Now, what I was trying to do is get a camera set up where we can see our brackets without having to put that shirt back over that door. That evening sun is coming right through our screen door and hitting me right in the eyes. You see that? That evening sun's ridiculous. All right, so Aiden's working on that. Much better. All right, you're going to have to get something bigger. That's your job. Is to get rid of the sun. All right. We're going to bring up Mr. Paul Vines. Is figure 80 down there? I assume that he is.
Yes, sir. We are here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Paul Vines. How are you doing today?
We are doing good. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Doing good. Can't complain. So, after the first two rounds, what does your bracket look like?
Mine looks like the back wall of about a 300-year-old shooting gallery.
You got something white all over your chin. Amber comes to the house eating something, it dripping off of her chin. Yeah, and Paul, without you knowing, I went ahead and entered you in our challenge.
Uh-oh.
There ain't no money involved. It's just me, you, Eli, Amber, and one guy that works with me. It's all bragging rights. But
I will definitely not be doing any bragging.
but the way we do it is, let me go ahead and explain it. Here, I'm gonna put that up somewhere. Yeah. We take you get a point for every correct pick you get right. And for every upset, you add 3 points to that. So if it's an upset, you got a potential of 4 points. What's this camera look like? Yeah, I didn't even adjust on that camera. Oh wait. You understand how we do it there now?
Yes, sir.
And you know that it entices people to pick more upsets, or I guess it rewards you more for more upsets. But we will go over the leaderboard here in just a second. But the first 2 rounds, the ACC shown why they only had 4 teams in it because we only got 1 team left. Pitiful.
They're going out.
Duke.
Arizona
Pitiful.
is going to.
The ACC did not have a good showing. The SEC still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So out of the Sweet 16, the SEC makes up nearly 50% of it. That's a pretty good showing for the SEC. And the thing that everyone's really, really fussing about and is having a hard time of wrapping their head around is they say the NIL has killed the Cinderella.
No, transfer portal has. Cadeau's already gone. Do you know that?
No, they're talking about your Cinderella teams. If there's no Cinderella teams because of NIL. Pick that up.
I'm just saying. Where's it at?
So, Mr. Paul, what's your thinking on that? Has the NIL have affected Cinderella teams or?
I don't know so much on basketball. I know it's killed football, but no, I mean, because you still got your smaller. Well, I say that, but a lot of the schools I normally like to pick in the NC, the March Madness thing are playing in the NIT this year. So,
and their reasoning is they're saying that big money and big schools is killing your Cinderella teams. Because see, before your Cinderella teams were teams that players stayed in school, they were together 3-4 year experienced. Now with the NIL, you can pretty much buy what you need. Even in the transfer portal, you can go out and buy what you need. And I can see where they're saying that it's killing Cinderella because the small schools that don't have as much money for the NIL is going to suffer the most. But in the first round, let's see, the first 4, everyone pretty well fared great there. And then we get to, what is that going off? Then we get to round 1. And I think everyone pretty well safely picked Auburn. But when we got to the Creighton-Louisville matchup, that's where it got us. Because I thought Louisville for sure, being in their home state, that close to their university, that close to home, would have a better showing than that. But Creighton advanced. And then Auburn beat Creighton. Then you had I thought UC San Diego. They had a good push, but that was mine and your upset, Paul. And
yes,
and that one there. And I thought, and for a while, UC San Diego looked good. What is that?
My phone.
Turn it off.
I did. That's silent.
But so out of the first round, you have Auburn, Creighton, Michigan, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Iowa State, New Mexico, and Michigan State advancing in the South. Ole Miss beat North Carolina. I think all of us safely picked North Carolina, and they pooped the bed.
yeah, I had them going pretty far.
Yeah, they.
Well, after the showing that they give against San Diego State, I mean that playing game, they call it the first 4. What it is a playing game.
Yes, sir.
Carolina had to play their way into the tournament. And they were lucky and fortunate to get to do that. But in that play-in game, man, by the first 7 minutes, that game was over with. Carolina had stretched it out to 18-point lead, and I'm like, I even told Eli, I said, they'll be up by 30 on this team by halftime. You know, everyone was talking about how good of a defense San Diego State had. I don't know. And then Ole Miss looked dang good the first half because Carolina didn't show up, and then Carolina shows up in the second half like they did against Duke, and too little, too late. But you boys in the SEC, y'all look pretty good. Hats off. Your thoughts so far on the South region, Paul?
Well, I thought it's honestly. I mean, my brackets all shot up, but I've enjoyed it. It's been some great games. Can't complain. Because, like I said, we just did this for fun anyway. So I don't enter them for money, but it's definitely been good basketball, real good basketball.
And the reason I asked you about the South is that's where you got hit the biggest on. I mean,
Yes.
of course you had, but after you get out of the South, you look pretty good. I mean, New Mexico surprised me. I figured Marquette. Of course, we all went with tradition there. I mean, that
I did too.
pretty much a toss-up game. I did not pick our North Carolina to beat Iowa State. You boys did. Of course, North Carolina didn't make it that far, but I kind of figured Iowa State was good one game, and then that was, they had injuries, and then eventually Ole Miss took care of business there, and they beat them pretty handedly. I mean, it wasn't like a buzzer beater or a close game, but Ole Miss pretty well took care of Iowa State. Michigan advances over Texas A&M, and of course we all went with Izzo, and I was pretty confident in the Izzo pick.
Yes, sir.
Rest of them was kind of shaky. So now that we're down, let's go on down to the West region. We'll summarize everything right quick, and then we'll look ahead. You go down to the West region, and everyone in their right mind had Florida advancing. We had UConn advancing. And then we get to Memphis and Colorado State. And I picked Colorado State because they were on fire. I mean, they ended the season wide open. They were hot and overlooked by a lot.
Yes, sir.
And they advanced past Memphis. And then Eli, did you pick? Nope, you picked Maryland. Paul went with Grand Canyon.
I went with
Wasn't a bad pick. But Maryland advances past Grand Canyon. You boys laid it on me with Drake. I went with Missouri. And who did Drake's coach sign with? God, I saw it just a few minutes ago before we come on. He has already signed with a pretty big university, which I knew he would. He had Drake humming, and a lot of it is for the money. I mean, that's why I wake up and go to work, Mr. Paul. I don't know about you.
No, I just love my job. I definitely do it for the money.
I mean, that if it wasn't for the money, I would not bail out of here and go to work. So, and these coaches, they're the same way. I mean, you're going to go where the money is.
Well, If I could find somebody to pay me to brim fish, I'd do that in a heartbeat, but that's not going to happen.
All day, every day.
But you do find some people, like the winningest coach in college football history, coached at some little bitty school, like a Division II or Division III. I guess he just loved it there because he was there forever.
Right. And you do have
But they're
some,
few and far between.
right, and they're anchored in tradition. That they build a winning program, and we see it a lot in high school ball around here. You get a good high school coach that's been there forever, and the program's going to be good year after year, regardless of. Because we don't around here. We don't get to handpick our students, athletes. We get them as they come. But Drake's coach did go for the money, and I will before we get off, I will find out where he went for sure. But Texas Tech takes down UNC Wilmington, and Paul's pick. And I told you I was up in the air here. I should have went with my gut. I went with Kansas, and Paul went with Arkansas. Arkansas.
Yeah, but of course, I didn't give them a prayer against St. John. I figured they were going to get blowed out.
I tell you what,
But
Arkansas is playing dang good ball right now.
yes, sir.
And it's whoever gets hot, that at the right time. And so then we have a great matchup in Calipari and Patino. And Patino done something in that game that I do not understand. Yeah, they wasn't shooting good from a 3-point line, but he sets one of the better shooters and better players on that team from like the 5-minute mark on. Benches him. And Arkansas ends up beating St. John's. Now, I'm no Patino. He coached circles around me, but he kind of, what is that old saying? Ride the horse you brought.
Yes, sir.
You don't, just because they're having a bad shooting night. You might bench him for a few minutes to get his attention or try to, but man, that's what you got. That's what you brought to the race.
Well, they definitely grilled him about it.
Yeah, that was crazy. Crazy. And then Texas Tech beats Drake, and they advance to the Sweet 16. Maryland beats Colorado State. They advance to the Sweet 16. And in one of the probably better matchups so far of the tournament, Florida and UConn.
Yes, sir.
Was a awesome game. Excellent game. Florida wins by 2 points, advances to the Sweet 16. And I'm like, man, that was a great game. I just enjoyed watching that game. And then I got to see what Dan Hurley done. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But it's Dan Hurley, and him just like his brother Bobby, and like his daddy Bobby. Them Hurleys tell you what they think, don't they, Paul?
Pretty much, yes, sir.
Did you hear about the Dan Hurley incident?
In this tournament, or
Yep.
What I
Yep.
miss?
After they got knocked out.
No. Whoa.
They were going in the tunnel after the game. And, they played in Raleigh. And Baylor and Duke was fixing to take the floor for the next game after. They had the second game in Raleigh, Duke and Baylor. And he goes in the tunnel where Baylor's at. And I'm not going to quote what he said. And now take it, there's not supposed to be any kind of journalist or anybody there. But where do you go nowadays that you don't have a camera on you?
Exactly.
Everybody has one in their pocket. And that's what I try to tell Dummy and Dummy's brother. When you get outside and you get to acting a fool, somebody's going to catch it on camera. I promise you. But Dan Hurley comes off of the sideline. They're out and the end of the tunnel. looks at Baylor, and he says, I hope the refs don't F you like they F'd us.
Yeah, that's pretty much him.
And then he turns and he says, good luck, Baylor, with those effing refs. And I was like, but then, like you said, that's the Hurleys.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, man, you should have been arm in arm with your seniors as you walk down the tunnel for the last time. I mean, he's a one back to back. Yeah, your season ended bad. You didn't go as far as you wanted to, but look, you beat one of the hottest teams in the nation. As one of the hottest teams in the nation, only beat you by 2 points. That's something to hang your hat on. It's not like you went out there and got blew out by 20.
Exactly.
You had a good showing. A couple of rebounds goes your way. It's a different ball game and you advance. But yeah, man, they are ripping him a new one over it. But like you said, that's the Hurleys. So we have the Sweet 16 in the South and the West is Auburn versus Michigan, Ole Miss versus Michigan State, Florida versus Maryland, Texas Tech versus Arkansas. Eli and Mr. Paul, is there any matchup there that absolutely just surprises you to death that those teams made it as far as they did?
The Arkansas making it to the Sweet 16 is the biggest surprise to me. In a way, maybe not, but overall, yeah, that surprised the fool out of me. I mean, they the last couple of weeks they've just found ways to win, and but still, I mean, it's the tournament.
Arkansas just got hot.
It's a good time to get started. It's March.
I mean, this is the same team that everyone was ready to throw under the bus when they lost the first 5 conference games they played this season.
Yes, sir.
Everybody was like, boy, Kentucky done a good thing when them and Calipari split ways, because I don't think Kentucky got rid of Calipari. It was kind of a mutual. Calipari said, I'm going.
Yep. Then he went back to Adolph's house and beat them.
Yep. And now he's got Arkansas looking pretty dang good. Which now, don't forget, Kentucky's still in this thing.
I know.
And nothing really surprised me with Maryland. I mean, they're a decent enough team to make it for as far as they made it. And I actually had them picked to make it this far.
Oh my gosh. I just now counted it up. Like I said, the SEC's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in the Sweet 16. Wow.
Make up nearly 50% of it.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yep. And kudos to them. You know, I was one of the ones that was fussing. Like, I thought, boy, they really love the SEC, and ACC's got one team. So I backtracked and apologized, and SEC's worthy of everything they've got, because that was a tough conference. And it's showing right now.
ACC?
Huh?
Maryland's not in the ACC?
Nope. No, Maryland's in the Big Ten now.
Huh, okay.
They bowed out. That's been several years ago. But before we jump over to the East and the Midwest, let's say hello to everyone in here. Because Mr. Paul, your lovely wife, said hello.
Hello, beautiful Miss Meg.
What's up, Scooby Snacks? Welcome in, Brandon. Of course, there's Mr. Paul. There's Eli. What's up, Brother David with Yoda's Blessed Life? Welcome in. Megan Edgeworth. Welcome in. David C. Perkins says, what do you say? Crystal says, what is up? What is up, peeps? Mr. Willie's in the house. Mr. Willie 95. What's up, Carol Walters? Welcome in, welcome in. Miss Diane Phoenix. Gary with 2 R's. SEC looking pretty dang good. He says, Gary with 2 R's. They looking better and pretty dang good. When you make nearly 50% of the Sweet 16, that's saying something. I mean, that's not a quarter. That is nearly half of the Sweet 16. Dang good showing. And everyone's talking back and forth. Miss Diane says, my brackets are still pretty. I'm glad somebody's is. I see another championship banner headed to Kentucky. Go ahead, E. I know you're dying to say something.
That'll never happen.
Meg says, sports balls. What's up, Mike and Michelle? And guys, I need to apologize to Mike and Michelle. I looked to make sure because they usually go live on Tuesday nights. And I looked to make sure, and I didn't see anything when I posted this on StreamYard. And then Michelle texted me. She's like, we're going live at the same time. And I said, well, shoot, I'll back ours off an hour. I said, I can get a hold of Paul. I know Paul won't care. I said, we'll jump back an hour and you can. But then she texted and said that her son had came to measure some on the siding and the roof. And so I think they got to have some work done. So hopefully we will wrap this up right quick. And then if Mike and Michelle want to jump on, they will. But I did not intend on stepping on any toes, Miss Michelle. What's up, Abby Brewer? Welcome in, welcome in. You know who that is? Sassy Britches. All right, we've caught up on the chat. We're halfway through the bracket. Let's flip over to, and guys, you want to stick around because I told you we got a bracket challenge going on. I got results right here, and I'll explain to you one more time before we get into it. Every correct pick is worth 1 point. Every upset pick is worth 3 points. So you got a potential of 4 points for one team. And we'll see how the scoring went. But over on the East, Brody's getting cat turds out of the litter box and eating them. Dogs are so nasty. How do you say? Scott Sassy Britches. Yep, Sassy Britches. That's sass. Michelle says, no need to apologize. Nope, we are good. No live tonight. Our son just left a little bit ago. Well, Michelle, I will be out of your way, and I promise I did not mean to step on any toes, and I would never do that. Brody, get out of here. Go on.
Go.
All right. So over on the East, I think it's safe to say everyone picked Duke. Everyone did pick Duke. She needs to come get her dog. Everyone picked Duke, and they did beat Mount St. Mary's. Baylor advanced past Mississippi State, and Paul picked Baylor. Eli picked Baylor. I picked Baylor. Paul picked Liberty over Oregon. Oregon advances. And then Arizona advanced. Paul had VCU. BYU advanced. And then I had Wisconsin. Paul had Wisconsin. Eli had BYU. But that to me was the biggest surprise to me is probably BYU. I think so. So far, at everything we've looked at, but
We were definitely hot against Wisconsin.
they were on fire. So BYU advances, Wisconsin advances, St. Mary's advances, and so does Alabama.
My whole East is looking
Roll
good.
Tide, Blaine.
Then that brings us to Duke and Baylor, and Duke advances past Baylor, which I thought would have been a closer game than that, but Duke hadn't played but like 3 close games all season.
This next one will be really close, and they'll lose it.
Auburn played them close. Clemson beat them. Carolina had them close at the ACC tournament. Other than that, man, they've been gone. Arizona advanced past Oregon. Like Mr. Paul said, BYU just lit Wisconsin up. And Alabama gets by St. Mary's. Then you drop down to the Midwest. We all had Houston. We all had Gonzaga. How do you say it, Paul? Is it Zaga or Zaga?
Zag.
I say Gonzaga, but
Zog.
I call them the Zags too. So
Let's say they call them the Zags, not the Zogs.
Zags or Zogs. We all picked Gonzaga. I had Clemson.
Me too.
Eli had Clemson. Paul had McNeese.
That's the only team I got wrong on the right side so far.
Then Purdue beat High Point. Illinois beat Xavier, who Paul picked over his Longhorns.
I did too.
Kentucky advanced past Troy. UCLA passed Utah State, and Tennessee passed Wofford. Paul, I was
I had no faith in Rick Barnes.
So then they advanced to the round of 32, and we'll stay in the Midwest where Tennessee beat UCLA, Kentucky beat Illinois, Purdue knocked off McNeese, and that was a close game for a while.
Yes, sir.
I wish McNeese would have won.
Houston squeezes past Gonzaga to set up a Houston, Purdue, Kentucky, Tennessee in the Midwest. And other than not having no faith in Rick Barnes, Paul, does anything jump out at you at the Midwest?
No, not really. A lot of those were good matchups to begin with. Got us some really good games. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it just I didn't do so hot in that bracket, but it's still fun.
Right. Well, that was my. Well, I wouldn't say worse because I stunk it up in the South pretty good too, and it wasn't because of North Carolina. But then we slide up east, and we have Alabama beating St. Mary's, like I said, which sets up a Alabama, BYU, Duke, and Arizona. Now, if we had to pick brand new, and I've got your picks from last week, but if you had to pick and start all over right now, knowing what we know in the tournament, who do you have, Auburn or Michigan?
I'd probably go with Michigan.
Auburn will win. Auburn's pretty hot right now. Half the people at school said that even though their bracket was like gone, they think Auburn's going to win it all. I don't think that'll happen, but I think they'll get past Michigan.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna jot these down just for what they say, poops and giggles. Paul would pick Michigan over Auburn. Eli, who would you go with?
Auburn.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I'd have to say Auburn. Just because the SEC's not playing around. They make up half the Sweet 16. All right, that drops us down to Ole Miss and Michigan State. Eli? Because North Carolina's who you had there, so there, we know that ain't gonna happen. But you're still being judged off of this bracket. This right here is just if you could do over. You go Ole Miss or Michigan State.
Give me the state.
Mr. Paul?
Michigan State.
And I'm still going Michigan State there as well. Because Izzo is Izzo. And they're playing good ball right now, too. All right, then you slide down. Florida or Maryland? Paul, kick us off on this one.
Oh, Florida all day long.
Eli?
Florida.
And that's who I'll pick as well. Because I think all of us got Florida going pretty far.
I'm going all the way, but not winning it.
And Florida is looking good. All right, now we're down to Arkansas and Texas Tech. And this right here, I'm sure they played sometime during the season because of the same conference. But Paul, who you got? Texas Tech or Arkansas?
I'm gonna go Arkansas. They've come this far. Why not? I mean,
Eli, who you going with?
They made it far. They're on fire. Give me Texas Tech.
I'm going Arkansas. And Paul, you said Arkansas. Eli, you said Texas Tech. Okay. All right. That'll take us to Duke and Arizona. Eli, you go first.
Arizona.
That's who you had picked to begin with, wasn't it?
Sticking to it. Caleb Love's going to show Cooper Flag what basketball is.
Paul, who you got there?
I got to go with Duke.
Paul's going with Duke, and that's who Paul had to begin with. So we're sticking with our initial choices, which that's good because we still got them. But mine, Paul's Duke, and Eli's is Arizona. All right, BYU and Alabama. Eli?
Alabama.
You're picking Alabama? Paul, who you got?
I'm going BYU. After watching them play against Wisconsin, they're just look like they're a real hungry team.
And I'm going BYU as well. Because BYU is physical. Man, but the difference, the biggest difference, because Alabama's physical too. They don't care to get it would be the depth. BYU goes pretty deep. Yeah, they played a lot of guys against Wisconsin. I'm just not sure Alabama can go that deep. All right, Houston and Purdue. Who you got, Mr. Paul?
Going Purdue.
Purdue. Eli?
Houston.
Eli's going Houston because you had Houston to begin with, right?
I have them going all the way and winning.
And I'm sticking with Houston as well. Just because that's who I had to begin with. And I still think they've been battle tested. That drops us to Kentucky and Tennessee. Eli, who you got there? Now remember, you don't have to go with what you choose. go with something different, or you can stick with what you got.
Kentucky's playing good ball, but the Vols are going to take them.
All right, Sir Paul.
We'll go with Kentucky.
Paul goes Kentucky. Eli goes Tennessee. And I've got Tennessee down as beating Kentucky. Dang, I don't know. I hate to, because Kentucky beat Tennessee at Tennessee earlier on Pat Summit Court. I'll go with Kentucky on that one. All right. You don't see anything that's a dead shoe in other than Florida. I think Florida takes care of Maryland, and everything else I think will be pretty good games.
Yes, sir.
Do you see that Florida Maryland game being a blowout after Florida's run in with UConn?
No, I mean, I don't think they're just going to blow them out, but I mean, I think Florida handled them pretty good. But I mean, I don't think they're going to go out there and blow them out by 20 or something.
Right. All right. Brother David said hospital meds are good. William Smith, welcome in. He picked Tennessee over Kentucky. Brandon picks Kentucky. William says Florida by 12. Ireland has no depth. You should look at Amber's bracket and make picks. Well, William, we have went over the Sweet 16. We even made picks on ones that our bracket's sealed, but if we could pick or repick or redo. But the Sweet 16 starts Thursday. I don't know exactly what time. Do you, Paul? I don't know when the first game. I don't know when the. Eli, look that up for us right quick while we're going through this.
What is it?
I don't know. I figure it's probably Friday evening, probably 5 or 6 o'clock Central Time. You know, where people get off work. Which
What time the Sweet 16 starts? Do they start on Friday or they start on Thursday?
Thursday.
Yep, Thursday. They'll start one round Thursday and then the other one Friday, and then they'll do Saturday, Sunday, and then Final Four goes what? Is it Saturday, Monday?
BYU and Alabama.
It's on the 5th of April.
All right, Eli's got it pulled up here. Thursday, March 27th at 7:09 is Maryland. I'm looking at it. Brigham Young University and Alabama. BYU, Alabama. Thursday, 7:09. Thursday at 7:39, Maryland and Florida. And then Thursday at 9:39, Arizona and Duke. Now, why in the world couldn't they have played that BYU Alabama game at 4 or 5, and then played the Maryland Florida game at 7:30, and try to space them out instead of, because you got a 7:09, a 7:39, and a 9:39.
The rest of the games will be on Friday.
All right.
Let's see more.
Then Friday games will start with. No, wait, that's still. Nope, we're not done. Never mind.
There's another Thursday.
There's another
game.
Thursday game at 10:09. All right, so the games start with BYU Alabama at 7:09. Then you got Maryland and Florida at 7:39. This is all p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 9:39, you have Duke in Arizona, and at 10:09, the late start, Mr. Paul, Arkansas and Texas Tech.
Yes, sir.
Good old Southwest Conference matchup.
That is a late tip off.
Late, very late.
I mean, I'd love to watch that one and probably will, and it'll kill me the next day because I'm not near as young as I used to be. But I'm looking at him like an old man would look at him. Why don't they start them games a little earlier? I know some of us got to go to sleep. But that's the day to end it on. Arkansas and Texas Tech at 10:09. And all that is Thursday, March 27th. Then you go to the 28th of March, which is Friday. At 7:09, it is Ole Miss and Michigan State. 7:39, Kentucky and Tennessee. 9:39, Michigan and Auburn. And at 10:09, Purdue and Houston. So it looks like if you want to start watching basketball, you can a little after 7, and you'll probably be watching it a little after 1. Something will go into overtime and push them back. I know it will. That's about the way it always goes. All right, now for those that want to know how the bracket challenge is going, and this is unfair to Mr. Paul, but I wrote his bracket down, and I thought, well, shoot, I'll just throw it in there with us because we're not playing for money. We're just playing for fun.
Hello, Sean.
What's up, Sean, at the Down Under Cruisers? Welcome in, welcome in. We are going over NCAA March Madness brackets. I don't know that. Does the ball bounce down in Australia? I know they drive on the wrong side of the road. Paul is in trouble. His wife knows exactly where he is. At all times, too, Sean. Makes it more interesting when you play a bracket. Yes, it does, William. All right. Amber turned in a bracket.
Not knowing who the name of God's playing.
Mr. Paul turned in a bracket. Amber has not watched a basketball game all year. Now, there were some years, especially when the boys were real young, Amber watched them with me. She could tell you a couple of the players, and we even went to Chapel Hill and watched a couple games. And
I never did.
But now, Amber has no clue who plays for the University of North Carolina. Tyler Hansbrough was the last player, and she just knew of Tyler a little bit, but now she really likes Sean May. That group that came through Chapel Hill, Amber knows all of them. And then after that, she just either lost interest or the youngins got old enough that she could play with them and have to sit with me on the couch. All right. After the first round, there was, and I told you get 1 point per correct pick. Mr. Sean says it bounces up. Remember, we are down under or upside down for you folks. You get 1 point for every correct pick, 3 points per upset, giving you a potential of 4 points if you pick an upset correctly. On Thursday, March 20th, there was 1, 2, 3, 4 upsets. Creighton, even though it's a 9 over an 8, that's considered an upset. Drake, an 11 seed over Missouri, that's an upset. Arkansas, a 10 seed over Kansas, that's an upset. And McNeese over Clemson was an upset. All right. Mr. Paul Vines.
Oh, gosh.
On Thursday, you got 12 right and 3 upsets. You picked Drake, Arkansas, McNeese, giving you the grand total of 21 points.
Not bad.
Not a bad showing for a Thursday.
I'm gonna say this. This is by far not the worst bracket I've ever filled out. Believe me.
I know what
Even
you're
though it
saying.
ain't good, it's not nowhere near the worst.
All right, the guy that I work with, Jake Willis, we'll go ahead and read his off too. He got 9 right and 1 upset. He picked Creighton, giving him a total of 12 points. Sir Eli got 13 correct, 1 upset. He picked Drake, giving Eli 16 points. I got 10 right, no upsets, 10 points. So far you got Paul with 21 points, Eli with 16 points, me with 10 points, and Jake with 12 points. Now who wants to hear what Amber come up with on Thursday? Something about sports ball, Misha. What's up, Misha? Welcome in, welcome in. We are going over the bracket and how our challenge is. We got 1 point for correct picks, plus 3 points if you picked an upset. Amber's Thursday looked like this. She got 15 correct. She picked 3 upsets with Drake, Creighton, McNeese, giving Amber a total of 24 points. So on Thursday, Amber was in the lead. Amber had 24 points. Paul was in second with 21 points. Eli was in third with 16 points. Jake with 12 points. And I was sucking hind tip with 10. Let's move on to Friday. We'll start off with Mr. Paul again. See, Paul, after Thursday night, you were in second place.
Yeah, it kind of went downhill after that, I'm pretty sure.
You had 21 points and Amber had 24. So we go to Friday. Paul had 10 correct, no upsets, giving him 10 points. Eli had 13 correct, no upsets, giving him 13 points. And the upsets Friday were New Mexico as a 10 seed and Colorado State at a 12 seed. Jake had 11 right with no upsets, giving him 11 points. I had 14 right with 1 upset, Colorado State, giving me 17 points. You want to know what Amber had? Amber had 13 correct with 1 upset, Colorado State, giving her 16 points. And officially after the first round Friday, Amber was in first place with 40 points. Paul in second place with 31 points. Eli in third with 29. I had jumped to fourth with 27, and Jake with 23. Do we need to keep going? We get to Saturday. Mr. Paul, on Saturday, you got 2 right, no upsets, giving you 2 points.
Oh gosh.
Saturday was rough for
Yes, sir.
everyone. Saturday was when, Saturday was when the bottom fell out of the South. I mean, it tanked. You know, you had UC San Diego that me and Paul had picked out. Louisville that me and Paul picked out. Marquette out. North
See,
Carolina.
there's one thing I love about this tournament, though. You will hear people say, "Yeah, but they got lucky. If they'd have played 10 games, the other team would have won 9 of them." Like, yeah, but you know what?
Don't
Those
matter.
9 don't count.
It don't matter. It's bring it or go home. Eli on Saturday got 6 right and 1 upset. And the upset Saturday was, I've got all this wrote down. I got papers laying everywhere at work. You have to see me doing this. Your upset Saturday was Arkansas, BYU, and Michigan. Eli picked BYU. He had 6 right, giving him 9 points, giving him a grand total of 38. My Saturday looked like this. I got 4 right, no upsets, giving me 4 points. It's rough on us, Paul. Saturday killed us.
It wasn't. I mean, it was a great day for college basketball, just not a good day for my bracket.
Not a good day for us. No. Giving me a grand total of 31 points. Jake done, I think, worse than that. Nope. Jake had 4 right, and he got 1 upset with BYU, giving him 7 points. He ended up with 30. Do we need to see what Amber got right? Saturday. Amber got 5 right. She got the 3 upsets. She picked Arkansas, BYU, and Michigan, giving Amber a total of 14 points, totaling her out to 54. So at the end of Saturday, Amber's in first with 54 points, Eli second with 38, Paul third with 33, I'm in fourth with 31, and Jake has 30. Sunday, we had 1 upset, and that was Ole Miss. And this is the last of it here, and then we'll give you the total standings going into this. But we're going to look at Amber's bracket because Amber's going to go from hero to 0 overnight, y'all. I just got this kind of feeling about me. All right, I'm missing a paper somewhere, Eli. Mr. Paul on Sunday got 6 right and no upsets. Remember, there's only 1 upset as Ole Miss, giving him 6 points and 39. I picked Sunday. I got 7 right, no upsets, 31 points. Sir Jake got 7 right, no upsets, 7 points. Eli got 6 right, no upsets, giving him 38 points. Sunday, Amber's looked like 6 points with no upsets. So after the first round, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with 1 point per correct pick, plus an additional 3 points per upset pick, the totals look like this. Amber's in first place with 60 points. Eli's in second place with 44 points. Paul is in third place with 39 points. I'm in fourth place with 38 points. And Jake is bringing up the rear with 37 points. Here is where Amber is going to go from hero to 0, y'all. I know you can't see that bright light. Amber Sweet 16 looks like this. She's got Auburn, North Carolina, Maryland, Arkansas, Oregon, BYU, Gonzaga, and Tennessee. No, that's her Elite 8. That's her Elite 8. That she's got. She missed Oregon and Arizona because she's got Oregon playing Duke. She's got Oregon beating Duke next round, so she's going to completely flop there because Oregon ain't even in it. So she lost the next one. She's got BYU over Alabama. That's not a bad pick. She had Gonzaga beating Houston. And she's got Gonzaga in the Elite 8, and they're already out. She has Tennessee beating Kentucky.
I can see it.
She has Arkansas beating Texas Tech. I can see it. She's got Maryland beating Florida.
Whoa.
And she has Auburn beating North Carolina, which she's already missed North Carolina. It's actually Michigan State. Amber's Final Four looks like this, Sir Paul. This is where I'm saying she's going from hero to 0. She done good picking those upsets to begin with. Amber's Final Four: Auburn, Maryland, BYU, and Tennessee. Now, could this happen? Yes.
No.
All four of those teams are still alive. Paul, what is the likely chances of Amber hitting gold?
Well, since it's Miss Amber,
I'd say pretty good.
because she's been doing pretty good so far.
Since it's Miss Amber. All right. If it was anyone else, Paul, what would their chances be?
I'd say Slim and none, and Slim left town last week.
Oh, yeah, she has BYU making it out of the East. Tennessee making it out of the Midwest, which is not a far stretch. Auburn making it out of the South, which is not a far stretch. But there's no way this Maryland team's going to beat Florida. And if they do, if they were to luck up, there's no way this Maryland team's going to beat Arkansas. I mean, you got to go through Arkansas or Florida. I would as soon take my chances of making it across the railroad crossing with the train coming.
Hey, Miss Najuma.
That West, Paul, you figure you got to go through Florida or Arkansas to make the Final Four. You're going to be battle tested the time you get there.
That's true.
So, but here is Amber. We laughed at the Final Four of Auburn, Maryland, BYU, Tennessee. Amber's national championship game on Monday, April 7th in San Antonio, Maryland and Tennessee. Now, Paul, if she picked Maryland and Tennessee to play for a national championship, who do you think she's got picked for a national champion?
Got to be Tennessee.
She
Nope.
went Maryland. Amber has Maryland winning it all. So you're gonna go 0-0, game over. But guys, if this is the correct Final Four, and that's the correct national championship, and that's the correct national champion, you won't see me at this house. We're gonna be hitting every lottery casino from here to I don't know when we'll stop. Because I'll have caught fire in a glass, in a jar, and put a lid on it. She's crazy, ain't she, Paul? You can say it. She can't hear you.
I can't say that. I mean, she's on fire.
Yeah, in more than one way. Right now, Amber's leading everyone, but it won't be long till we'll be catching that tail. Because Mr. Paul's Final Four looks like, well, let's go to the Elite Eight because that'd be the next one. Louisville. He picked Louisville, and that's why I said his South took a beating because he picked North Carolina too. So, but he has Florida and St. John. You've still got the potential to get your Florida, and your St. John will probably more than likely be Arkansas, I think. You got Duke going all the way on in the East. You're still alive and good there. You got UCLA going in the Midwest.
That's a no-go.
That's a no-go. But your Final Four is still 50% good. You got Louisville, Florida, Duke, and UCLA.
Yes, sir.
And 50% Final Four. I like those. I like the two teams you picked. Are solid. With Florida and Duke playing a national championship, and Florida coming away the champion. Oh, that's still intact. You still got a lot of good numbers coming up. It's not like you got Maryland and Tennessee playing. Eli's Final Four looks like this. Well, let's go to the Elite Eight. Eli's got Texas A&M, North Carolina. His South is just like Paul's. It's shot. He's got Florida, St. John. Half of his West is
Now,
still all right.
my East and Midwest or Mid.
Your East and Midwest.
Yeah.
In the East, he's got Arizona beating Duke. And he's got Alabama over BYU. You've got Arizona, Alabama, Houston, and Tennessee for your Elite Eight. Your Final Four with UNC, Florida, Arizona, and Houston. So you still got 3 teams alive in your Final Four, with Houston and Florida playing for the national championship, and Houston. So you still got some good numbers to come up with. My Elite Eight is Auburn, Michigan State, still alive in the South. The West, I've got Florida and St. John's. St. John's gone. I got Duke and Alabama, fairly decent. Houston, Tennessee, with my Final Four being Michigan State, Florida, Duke, Houston, and Florida and Duke. All my Final Four still intact. Florida and Duke playing for the national championship, and Duke being a national champion.
It won't happen.
So I have a question real quick.
All right.
We talked about, who was the biggest surprise, I guess in a good way. Who was the biggest surprise, do you think, in a bad way? Mine would be Patino and
St. John.
St. John. That was the biggest letdown, at least in my opinion.
I'm gonna be honest. If I don't, this ain't about my bracket, but I'd love to send McNeese at least win one more.
But McNeese can't be a letdown because they took out Clemson. I mean,
If they took out
St.
Purdue,
John's, yeah, a Patino team with going out against, but they went out against Arkansas. I mean, you got to look at it. They went out against the Calipari team. The biggest letdown to me so far, I would say, would be North Carolina,
yeah, of course.
because that's a team that wasn't supposed to make a tournament, but when they did, everyone kicked against them, and I thought, man, right here is your chance to make some noise. And then they go back to playing like the fools that they are. But if it's not North Carolina, then I would probably have to go with Iowa State.
I mean, they didn't have 2 of their best players.
Well, but I mean, they only lost one. They lost that Gilbert guy.
Yeah, but they lost another one, didn't they?
No, I don't think so.
That's what
But-
I heard.
But still, yet, I mean, you out of the conference they're playing in, and the number 3 seed, they were pretty laxy daisy, and then you also got to throw Clemson in there. Clemson was a big letdown. You finished second regular season ACC. They get knocked out. I think semifinals, because it's Louisville that beats Clemson and makes it a championship game, because Duke beats Carolina and makes the championship game. I don't know. As far as conference, ACC's a letdown. Louisville going out first game, Carolina going out first game, Clemson going out first game. Come on, y'all. We basketball country. Jerk up on it. We looking like
Look, the Big Ten made a pretty good show in there too. Not quite as good as the SEC, but Big Ten's got what, 4 teams in?
Yep. I mean, you got the potential there for the big showdown between Michigan and Michigan State. When we think of that, we think of football.
What about Oregon? Oregon's in the Big Ten, aren't they? Are they in the Big 12? I don't know.
I don't know where they fell now, but I don't know if they're. See, Arizona used to be Pac-12. I don't know what they are now, because you got Arizona; they're still in.
That's right, Arizona. I looked at it wrong.
What's BYU? Are they? They used to be Mountain West. I don't know what they are now. I don't.
In Houston, they're what, Conference USA or?
That they used to be. I don't think they've switched yet.
So there's nobody from a conference where like it's all big conferences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There's no what would be a not like a sun belt, or yeah, that's what Appalachian State's in. Coastal Carolina, Appalachian State. You know that to me that right there is not a Power Five. There's not a team in the tournament left that's not in Power Five. So makes his sports belt. But that's our show. I'm done running my mouth. There's gonna be some good basketball being played Thursday. Good basketball being played Friday. It's gonna be late. Paul, you gonna stay up and watch Arkansas?
Probably not. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't stay up that late. I just don't. You can ask Miss Meg if that just don't happen. It just don't.
William, my final four is hang on. Michigan State, Florida, Duke, and Houston. Yeah, we old. We passed old. Originally, yeah. That's who I got originally.
God, I'm going to bed now.
Yep, originally I got Michigan State, Florida, Duke, and Houston. And Eli, get up and turn that light down, son. See if we can do this without blinding people. Because if I hold it right there up, all you're going to do is get blinded. But if you turn that light down, son, this one right here. A little more. All right, that ain't gonna help. Anyways, William, you can't really tell it, but the green or whatever that is that missed. And so far in this tournament, Amber has missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She's missed 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've missed 13. Eli's missed 9. But the difference between him and his mom is she picked more upsets. Yeah, William, I picked Duke. You picked Florida. Paul picked Florida. He's got Florida and Duke in the championship game. Eli has Houston and Florida in the championship game. So it's going to be interesting. But like I said, if Amber's bracket holds out, y'all won't see me for a while because we're going to go see if we can win some money. Because she'll be on a streak and a half.
Oh.
All right, Mr. Paul, I appreciate you being here with us again.
Thank y'all for having me. I enjoyed it. Thank everybody for showing up, chatting with us, and please do not put any money down on anything I pick. Please don't.
I said that disclaimer last Monday, or Monday. I think is when we done it last week. We are not professionals.
Not at all. Y'all, I might say I'm gonna hop off here. I gotta go cook. So appreciate it. I'll see y'all next time.
We'll check this out over the weekend, and we may do it again next Monday before the Final Four.
All right. See y'all.
See you, Paul. Y'all, it is time for me to eat some supper and get ready for bed because my butt's old. But remember, games start Thursday at 7:09. And it goes Thursday, Friday. And they both start 7:09. And then we'll go from 16 to 8 before Saturday. And then from Saturday to Sunday, we will go from 8 to 4. Y'all, we will be here Sunday with Chewing the Fat. Until then, have a wonderful night, a blessed rest of your week. And no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, get out and kick it country, y'all. We love you. We out. Bye.